If you were to cross the demilitarized zone from South Korea to north, now you can't do that. It's well guarded and there's lots of surveillance. If you wanted to get to the north side of the DMZ, you'd have to go a different route, and that's a story for another podcast. But it's easier to get our geography right this way. So if you imagine that you could cross at that point and you started to head north, pretty soon you would come to a large highway, and that highway would go all the way to Pyongyang. So when you travel that highway, you notice that it's been militarized. It's very wide, so military equipment can move along it very quickly. And also the bridges have got detonation points. So the bridges can be blown with explosives and they will fall on the roadway to block it. There's also other militarization and weaponization built into the landscape around that highway. It's not just the north that does this. The south does it as well. So does the west. It's a very common practice. So when I was traveling that highway, we stopped at a truck stop. Nothing unusual about that. A truck stop just like it would be in the West, with a little cafe, people selling tea and coffee. What was unusual about this truck stop is that if it wasn't too busy, the women selling tea and coffee would come out into the parking lot and sing songs for people passing by. When I visited, it was one of those days. And as I listened to these songs, I began to wonder what would happen to these women if the ideas that had been built into the infrastructure that surrounded them and surrounded similar people in the South ever needed to be used or put to the purposes they were made for. And as I was listening to the women singing, I began to think that maybe we should spend more of our time and energy writing songs and listening to them. Anyway, with that in mind, I'll let you enjoy the music and the songs.
outside the window so she could sneak out of the house. Yeah.